Guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. I am Ashley. I'm a homeschooling mom with 7 kids going on 8 kiddos. Our oldest will actually be 14 in 2 weeks, which is so crazy. And our youngest is 2, and I am due in the summer, number 8. So that makes 5 boys and 3 girls. Okay, this is kind of a video that I've been thinking about for a while, and just to kind of give maybe some inspiration. I will be turning 40 in a few months. Yeah, a few months. And when you turn 40, I feel like you kind of reevaluate a lot of things, and you kind of look back and say, what have I learned? What have I experienced that has made me a better person, that has changed me, that has, in a good way, hopefully, or has made an impact to where I know that I have changed for the better. Now, this is a topic that I could probably make 5 videos on, because I feel like there's so many different aspects. You could split this up into like different categories and you know, health related and relationship related, friendship related, work related, you know, parent related, any of those things. There's so many things that I could talk about for hours, and I like to talk based on the length of some of my videos. I'm going to try and keep this short because I just feel like there's some little nuggets of information or experience that I have that maybe you're not even close to 40, but kind of what your mind starts thinking about as you get closer and closer to it. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 things that really kind of stood out to me when I was thinking about turning 40, and when I was thinking about life lessons. And I don't even say life lessons because it's like a chunk of my life, obviously, which hopefully I have years and years and years and years and years left to live. So it's really, up until thus far, things that have really stood out to me on what I have learned, how I feel like I have bettered myself as an individual, as a spouse, as a parent, as a friend, any of those things. One thing that I feel like I have gained so much, I don't want to say knowledge on, but maybe because it kind of comes from experience, I guess, is that silence is golden. When I was younger, and by younger, I mean like even, gosh, 5, 10 years ago, even, I would be opinionated as it came to things that maybe bothered me some, but I would rather make it a point that it bothered me some than to be quiet about it. I have learned, and I can tell you that I do this, sometimes I have to catch myself, but for the most part, I do this, and my mind thinks this way automatically, that silence is golden. That when things bother me, and I'm not talking about like if you're having spouse issues or really serious problems or a real big conflict with someone in your family or a best friend or something like that. I'm talking about social media. I'm talking about posts that you see that you really want to comment on, but you're like, no. let me just wait a minute, or kind of an overreaction. Like, let's say there's an issue with family or friends or something like that. And instead of saying your first reaction and just saying what comes to your head, just as an immediate reaction, stop. Stop and understand that if you don't say anything at all and you let yourself cool off, it's better. And really, I feel like as a parent, I have become better with that as well. There are some things that you just want to say for whatever reason. Now I'm not talking about if your child is getting bullied or if something like that. That is an automatic, like, you will not hear me. You will hear me. I will not be silent. But for the most part, stop and think. And the less that you say about a certain situation that's bothering you, that is really not that important, being quiet speaks volumes. Number 2, looking at the bigger picture of life. I would say when I turned 30, and I specifically remember thinking this, when I turned 30 is really when I stopped feeling invincible. I feel like in high school, I felt invincible. I feel like right out of high school, I felt invincible. Death wasn't even like on my radar. And then as you get older, you start seeing people that you know passing away, and you're recognizing that. You start seeing health issues come about with people that you are friends with or that you have known or that are your age, and you can't really say much longer that, well, you're still so young. I mean, yes, for some things, but I feel like at 30 was really when I started thinking about like my mortality and worrying about that, and being more paranoid, I guess you could say, of health issues or things like that, and realizing that I'm not invincible. Nobody is, but in high school and right out of high school, college, you feel like you are, which, there's nothing wrong with that, as long as you live your life, not like crazy. But I feel like then is when I started looking at the bigger picture and saying, I don't want to say I never really thought how many kids I was going to have. Never did I think I was going to have 8 at all, that I would be pregnant with my 8th before 40, or, right at 40. But looking at the bigger picture of life and realizing that you are not invincible. You're not invincible at, 20, much less 40, much less 30. So looking at the bigger picture of life and really living life as though you're not invincible, but living life as if you still have a lot of life left in you, if that makes sense. Prioritizing events over, or I guess certain events. So, back in the day, I would say yes to everything, because why not? I only had a kid or two, or if I even had kids. And then, yes, it was a lot easier to do that. Now, as I've gotten more kids, I prioritize what I do. And yes, we are busy, but it always involves my kids. And so prioritizing and seeing and recognizing what is worth your time. Certain birthday parties might not be worth your time. Meeting up with certain people that want to meet up with you might not be worth your time. I don't know, hanging out with a group of people that you normally hang out with may no longer be worth your time. Understand that and realize that and know what is worth your time and prioritize that. I always put my family first, regardless. My kids, my husband, they're first. And so if it doesn't involve them, I second guess it. And I think, is it worth the time away from them to go do X, Y, or Z? Prioritizing and realizing that they are more important than anybody else that I could be hanging out with. Your close circle of friends will change. And this applies for high school. This applies for college. This applies for after college. This applies for your adult life. I can't even count on my hands how many times I have had to say, well, they were in my life for a reason, but for only a season. That, and like I said, high school also. I mean, this goes for high school friendships. I look and I say, yes, that time that I spent being friends with this person was so important to me at that time. And then things changed. I'm not a fan of change, but I recognize it when it's staring at me in the face. And so that has been a big life lesson for me, because, whereas when I was much younger, I would really work hard for those, let's say a friendship kind of faded away, and I would work really, really hard for that friendship to come back. And then it didn't work so well. And I would have to say, and I realize now, they were put in your life for a season and for a reason, and that's gone. You're done with that season. There is maybe nothing in common with you anymore. Maybe they did something that is not worth your time, that made you, second guess your friendship. And even as an adult, that's like that. As your friends change as an adult, you're not going to have the same friends you did when you're 30 as you do when you're 40, or 40 when you're 50. Now, yes, I have a handful of friends that I would, get on a plane for if they needed me. But those, I know that they're important friends because I don't talk to them all the time. And so when I talk to them, it's like we pick up right where we left off. And it's like, these people, you go and live your lives, whether or not they live here with, in my area or not, you go and live your lives. But at the end of the day, that you could call them or text them, and it's like nothing happened. Like, wait, why haven't I talked to you in 6 months? Well, we were busy. And it's just like an understanding. And so ironically, those are the friends that I have had for so many years that I know will be my friend till the day I die. Like that, those are important to me. But again, as I've gone through my adult life, I don't fight for a lot of things anymore that waste my time. And so if I don't think, does it bless me in any way? Does it give me joy in any way? If it doesn't, I'm moving on. And so that's just how it is. I don't waste a lot of time anymore on things like that. I recognize friendships, and I recognize people that have been in my life for so many years, and I hang on to that. But aside from that, people come and go, and that's just the reality of life. Your expectations might change, their expectations might change, your lifestyles might change, your views might change on things, and you just have to recognize that. And so I think I've gotten a lot better with that as I have gotten older, and I feel blessed to be able to recognize that. Being confident in who you are and what you believe in. There are obviously peer pressure when you're in high school, when you're in college, and all of this shenanigans. And then as you get older, it's like, hey, I don't care if I go to Walmart with no makeup on and my hair in a messy bun, because who cares? Like, really, who cares? Um, in high school, you would have caught me dead going out of the house without makeup on. So, being confident in who you are, and this goes for being as a parent, this goes for as a spouse, this goes for, if you work full time as a coworker, as an employee, um, being confident in who you are, and that shines through. As a parent, also, this is big for me, because knowing the decisions that you make as a parent and sticking with them. Obviously, hopefully, you and your spouse are on the same page if you are married, or, your spouse or whatnot. Um, Being on the same page is very important, and being confident in that and sticking with those decisions because you are the parent and you know better. Um, and then also just an inner confidence in who you are, and not trying to please others into having to think that you have to believe what they believe. And whether this is in a religious aspect or just a personal aspect of, like I said, anytime you walk out of the house, you wear makeup. If you don't feel like doing it, don't do it. Like, it's just, I think people put so much emphasis on so many unnecessary things. And as you get older, you just kind of have a, I don't give a what attitude anymore. And if it makes me happy and I'm fine with it, then that's all I need. And finally, probably one of my biggest things is traveling as much as possible. We did not start traveling until our third kid was 6 months old. That's when we got our minivan, like an actual minivan. And so that is when we started traveling, doing road trips. She is now 8. And I did not realize how much, because growing up, we never did road trips. We never traveled ever. And so instilling this into my children and a love of travel is so important to me. And it's important to me also because it brings me so much joy. Like, that is one of the things that the highlights of my life are road trips. Some people hate them, some people love them. I love them. Going different places, experiencing these things, letting your kids experiencing these things, and having them grow up traveling is amazing. If it wasn't so expensive to go overseas, to like Germany and France and all that, I would go now. Like, it's something that I just love to do. I love exploring other places and taking pictures and having my family there, and the excitement. I get giddy for going on trips. I just love it. I love the planning aspect of it, everything. And so it is something that your kids will remember for forever. And I make my photo books, and so they can look back on it. They were doing that just the other day, looking at all the traveling in the photo books, and just giving them those experiences that I think, now, if you can't, obviously financially, then that is something, I will say we will make a lot of sacrifices to be able to go on road trips. And sometimes there has to be, a time where you might not be able to. We're not going anywhere for the summer like we normally do, but for my 40th in the fall, we're going to go somewhere. So I said, that's what I want to do. I don't want to party. I don't want, any of that. I want to go on a trip. Like, I want to go on a trip. So traveling as much as possible and letting your kids see other parts of this country, other parts of the world, if you're able to. I can't wait to be able to go to another country and really give them that experience. I just want them to probably be a little bit older and maybe not have toddlers with me. I feel like that might be a little tough on those flights, but Anyway, those are my, how many did I say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. My 6 biggest things that like I said, I could talk for hours about this subject, hours. Um, but for the most part, these are the things that I think have really stuck out to me as I started thinking about turning 40, and the important things and the things that have made the most impact on my life and my family's life, and really recognizing those those habits and those experiences that um, really just bring me a lot of joy. So I know that was kind of a random video, but again, it's something that I was just thinking about as I am on the cusp of turning 40, and just thought I would share that maybe if you guys are having a hard time with getting older, which I don't want to get older, but again, I gain a lot of wisdom as I get older. So it's kind of I don't know, it's a positive and a negative, I guess. But anyway, let me know, guys, if you have any questions down below on anything that I talked about, or any if there's anything that you want me to do a video on specifically. And I will see you guys next time. Take care.